Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. You are here today for Ohio University's College of Business Online MBA Concentration Overview. My name is Kimberly, and I am your official MBA program ambassador, and I have two fabulous guests with me who are so knowledgeable about the concentrations that I think we'll be able to get all of your questions answered. So at the lower half of your screen, you will see a question and answer box. That box is available for you to type in your questions, and we'll answer them either live or privately. And then there's also a chat box as well. So if you have any comments that you'd like to share with us, feel free to put it in there. But start using those questions and answers, and we'll be sure to get them answered throughout the program here. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you our two guests this afternoon. I have Dr. Young, who is our MBA Program Director, and Dr. Metcalf, who is our Associate Professor of Operations Management. Hi, Dr. Young. Do you want to give us a brief intro?
Sure thing. First and foremost, I just wanted to thank everybody for attending this session live with us or maybe watching the recording later. Hopefully we can address any question you might have about the program. As far as things go with me, I've been a faculty member at Ohio University for about 10 years. I lead our online MBA efforts as well as our Masters of Business Analytics effort. And basically I teach and research all things analytics.
All things analytics. If that is your concentration, that's your passion, definitely we'll get Dr. Young on with us. And Dr. Metcalf, what about you?
Hi, welcome everyone today to Ohio University's information session. I am an Associate Professor of Operations, and I've been at Ohio since 2013. And I work primarily in the OMBA operations core class, as well as teaching Lean Six Sigma, and I do consulting and research related to healthcare process improvement. So thank you for joining today, and hopefully I can answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. And I'm going to do a short plug here because if you're here for the MBA, we're glad you're here. And we also have an upcoming open house for all of our College of Business programs, and both Dr. Young and Dr. Metcalf will be in that one as well. So that one is going to be on June 9th, Wednesday, June 9th, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are interested in learning more about that open house, where we'll talk about all of our master's degree programs, pop it into the chat box. I'll shoot you guys the link so that you can join us then as well. So let's just go ahead and get started here. So for some of you, you might be early on in your journey wondering, is the Ohio MBA, online MBA right for you? Maybe you've already decided that it is, maybe you're not, but here are some really good reasons as to why you would want to consider Ohio. So not only are we consistently ranked within the top 100 and top 50 a lot of times by all these fabulous organizations, one being Fortune magazine just ranked us number 42 for best online MBA. So it is legitimate, it is great, it'll definitely help your career. But we promise you that the courses that you are taking at the online MBA are exactly the same and taught by the same faculty as the on-ground MBA. So there is none of this, oh, I'm taking an online, I'm going to have an online degree. No, it is the same rigor taught by the same faculty. And Dr. Young, being the program director of the online MBA, would you say that statement is true? Tell us a little bit about the faculty.
Yeah, that's a great lead into where my head is at right now, because actually, there's a reoccurring kind of thought in my head when I talk about the online MBA, or what administrators or faculty alike here at Athens, Ohio talk about or think about. Our online program is not an afterthought. In fact, it's it really is our signature program from the College of Business, which means basically we get to draw from the best faculty that we have in our college. So it's a privilege actually to teach in the online MBA program. So as a director, it makes my job easier when I'm working with department chairs and trying to staff the courses, because it's kind of competitive to get into the online space to teach in this program because it's just one of those things that our faculty want to teach in. And, you know, our faculty are amazing, and we only like to staff those who are really passionate about education, especially online education. So when I read exit surveys and information that we gather from our students, you know, one of the things that they always say about our faculty is that, you know, they're really responsive, they're really accommodating, they're flexible. They get back to our emails not within 24 hours, but a lot of times a few hours, you know, from when the email is sent. So I'm really privileged to work with such an amazing faculty.
I have to agree. I get to interact with a lot of the faculty myself, and I would say that they're probably more interactive and high touch with our online students than sometimes the people who are on campus, just because it's you know, it's online, it's there, it's on your phone. So I don't think anybody ever has a problem with reaching someone when they are in need. And that's another benefit to the Online MBA, is that it is 100% online coursework. So we will talk a little bit later about the on-campus component of the Online MBA, which actually is virtual due to COVID for this time being, but well, that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the coursework, again, is that same rigorous coursework that you'll get from an on-ground program. And you get to build this wonderful relationship with a cohort of students who are of a similar professional level as yourself, you know, and it just, to me, it makes sense if you're a working professional that you would go the online route, but that's just another aspect of why you might want to. And you're thinking, you know, I want to take the next step in my career. I want to become a manager. I want to open my own business and want to become a leader. The Leadership Development Conference that is tied in with your tuition for Ohio's Online MBA is a great, not only a great networking opportunity, but it is a dedicated workshop that allows you to build your personal brand, go through these like leadership deep dives and hone your leadership abilities. It is two days in on the Athens campus right here in beautiful Ohio. And again, it is included with your tuition. So, and I know, Dr. Young, you are a rock star when people when we get to go on campus and you meet, like, people line up to take pictures with you. It is so great. Do you have any words about the LDC?
Well, you know, just thinking about my experience as director in the program and how far we've come since our initial LDC, and it always impresses me as far as the quality of speakers, keynote speakers, panelists that we have, and just the overall quality of the conference that we put on. I always walk away energized, frankly, because we really put a focus on just professional development. I mean, you know, for lack of better words, but it really is inspiring. So if I had to be honest, early on in my program director days, you know, I thought, why would an online student want to come to Athens and do this 1.5 to 2 day event? But I was so wrong. It's really a signature event that students, even though they only have to come to one, they're coming back for 2 and sometimes 3, and sometimes students want to come back for even more after that, to be frank. But it's an amazing event. It's great to see the colleagues that you've been working with, you know, online. It's great to network with them. It's great to meet your faculty, and it's really great just to take a step back and kind of focus what the next few years of your career and your career progression is going to look like.
For sure. And who doesn't want to go back to a campus, like just go to the bars and have that experience? I know that is what I look forward to. And going to the bookshop and getting my OU flag. So it's definitely a good time. If you have any more questions about the Leadership Development Conference, be sure to either pop them in the question and answer box or speak to your enrollment advisor. So just getting down to the nitty-gritty final 2 points here. Ohio's MBA is 35 credits, which you can complete in 2 years if you stick with it. Our courses are offered one at a time in 7-week increments. And as a working professional, I can tell you that there is no way I could have gotten my master's degree without doing the classes one at a time. It sounds like it's going to take forever, but you actually are taking 2 within 1 semester. So you're taking 1 course, and then once that's done, you're taking another course, but that is considered like 1. So that's spring, for example. You'll be taking 2 courses in the spring. Within that, you know, we're here for the concentrations, and we offer 9 concentrations to go along with our core curriculum of the online MBA. And these 9 concentrations allow you to tailor your MBA to your interests and your career goals. Everyone starts out in the same foundational core courses. Those courses give you a great start into all aspects of business, you know, finance, leadership, and then you dive into the concentration courses. And the best thing about it, I'm just going to slide here. So these are the 9. The best thing about it is you might be thinking, okay, I don't know exactly what I want right now. That's totally fine. Again, everyone starts with the core courses before you dive into your concentration courses. So you can just, you know, say you're going into one, but as you decide, maybe, you know, you took the business analytics course and you're like, actually, that was pretty awesome. You can switch as long as you switch before your 2nd semester. So we're not holding you to it, but you should decide relatively soon, and we think that it'll be pretty obvious once you get into it. So we are going to be focusing today on 3 of our top concentrations: executive management, operations and supply chain management, and project management, which is our newest concentration. So if you have questions about the accounting, business analytics, finance, healthcare, or strategic selling and sales leadership, put them in the chat box, put them in the question and answer box. We'll get to them at the end. But these concentrations that we are going to be focusing on, we're going to deep dive into because they just happen to have a lot of interest that I have found in the past. So that being said, we're going to jump into our newest concentration, project management. Now, being new, I meant it launched for us this summer. So actually just launched this past May, so our coursework just started. And we found that this concentration was a necessary concentration for managers in business who have an interest in, you know, they have projects, everyone manages projects in business, but how to do that effectively on budget and on strategy. So that being said, Dr. Metcalf, I know that you've been working very closely with our team who launched this concentration. Can you tell us a little bit about it and who might be benefiting from this curriculum?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So the project management concentration is designed in collaboration with our College of Engineering. So the faculty that teach in the program are faculty out of the College of Engineering, but they are also PMP certified. So if you are familiar with project management, you'll know the organization Project Management Institute, PMI, and you can find their website at pmi.org. That professional certification is based on what's known as the project management body of knowledge. So all of the classes in this concentration, the 3 classes, are related to that project management body of knowledge so that students going through the concentration are prepared and ready to get a PMI professional certification. You would be prepared to take those professional exams. And you're taught by faculty who already have those professional certifications. So it's a really nice way to get a PMP certification if that's something you're interested in. If we think about the types of jobs that would make sense for this concentration, anyone who's working directly in project management would certainly benefit. And that can span all kinds of industries. So it could be anything from, you know, construction projects to IT projects and new product development, or things like process improvement. And so there's a lot of opportunity for project management in many different industries. It's just whether or not that's a focus for what you want for your career.
And I love project management personally. I think it's both an art and a science for sure. We have one question in the question and answer box is, does this concentration provide you with a PMP certificate?
So you would still have to go through, so the Project Management Institute, PMI, is a third-party professional organization. So you would still have to go take the exams associated with the Project Management Institute to get a PMP certification. But all of this coursework here is designed around that project management body of knowledge. So the types of skills and language and vocabulary and tools that you're taught in these classes are exactly what you would need to know going into that exam. So it sets you up really well for a PMP certification, but you would still have to go through PMI to get that officially.
That makes a lot of sense. I imagine that being a third party, they would want to keep that certification pretty close to their chest. But I think that having the project management concentration along with your MBA just kind of helps lift you up as a manager to, you know, say I have these hard skills, but I also have all of these soft skills as well to really make you a well-rounded individual within the business world. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to breeze through this, folks. All right, so next we're going to move on to executive management. So this to me is a very broad topic. I feel like everything is management and also everyone wants to be an executive. So Dr. Young, can you explain this concentration a little bit to me and, you know, what kind of careers are out there for people in executive management?
Well, I will do my best because, like you mentioned, it is really broad. It is one of our most popular concentrations in our suite of concentrations. And I guess just thinking about our MBA structure in general, which happens to be a very generalist program in terms of an MBA student at Ohio University is going to get a really diverse set of classes across all functional areas of business. So if we're talking about our core classes, you're going to get an exposure to analytics, finance, accounting, strategy, leadership, and really everything across the spectrum of business. And the way we've designed our program is to have these 9 concentrations because our students want a deeper dive in a particular subject matter. And I'm really proud of that because we've been aggressive of trying to customize and offer a curriculum that really suits any student out there. And we're very career focused. When I look at exit surveys and things of that nature, you know, what stands us apart besides our accreditation, which is really awesome to be accredited by AACSB because you're not talking about a large percentage of colleges that actually have that, both in undergrad and grad. We are among the very few that do have that accreditation. We have an outstanding faculty body where our courses are taught by terminal degree holding faculty, which is different than some institutions out there. So we take a lot of pride in our program. And like I said earlier, it's not an afterthought. This program is special to us and we recruit the best faculty. So with that said, when I look at our most popular concentration, it is executive management because so many of our students, they age between, you know, anywhere from mid-20s to 60 years of age and have, you know, an average of 7 to 9 years of professional experience. And we all have aspirations of our career trajectory, and the executive suite is where we have those aspirations of being. So when we developed this concentration, we looked at strategically a few different areas that separate a deep dive in maybe a technical skill area to those making decisions at the C-suite level. So the 3 courses in this particular concentration are analytics for executives. So analytics is playing a huge role. I must say I'm very biased because that's what I teach in research, but it's such a hot topic right now because it's what's creating competitive advantage for our organization. So you have to have an understanding of how to leverage analytics for your organization. So we talk about the life cycle of projects. How do you support those working on these initiatives and things of that nature? We also look at change management. Change is never easy, so this class focuses on, getting your organization through change, because when we look at it, our value as a business leader is to provide a direction for our organization and get people on board with that change, because we all know how quickly the business landscape changes, and change, again, is not easy. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but that is one of the things that your organization is going to rely on you to do, is lead your peers and either subordinates or even superiors to some degree through that change. And in terms of ethics, ethics has to be a cornerstone of any C-suite discussion these days. There are all kinds of considerations when you think about ethics in today's business. So we really thought the combination of these three classes really differentiated our executive management students from, of course, the other concentrations that we offer.
Great, thank you. That was awesome and in-depth. So I hope that, really sells it, because executive management, as you said, is one of our bread and butters here. Everyone loves this concentration. But another one as well is our operations and supply chain management. I have to say, I was not aware about how hot a topic operation and supply chain management was until I started to be more of an adult and try to, for example, I'm trying to get a fence for my house right now, and I can't because the supply chain is all messed up. So it's so funny how everyday life kind of gets into the weeds of how our curriculum is structured. So Dr. Metcalf, you are our operations and supply chain guru. Can you tell us more about this concentration and about this area that I think is growing?
Sure, I'm happy to. This is my favorite concentration because it's the one I teach it, and I love it so much. So I have a background in operations and manufacturing, and then my PhD's in operations. And when we think about, what is unique about this concentration, it really builds off of your core operations class. So any student in the Online MBA program is going to go through one operations core class, which is going to talk to you about the basics of, supply chain, operations, forecasting, inventory, quality, all of those things that are important to our functions as an organization. But this concentration builds on that core class and gives you a more in-depth knowledge of particular areas of operations. So you'll take a class in Lean Six Sigma, which is my class, and we actually walk through developing a Lean Six Sigma project. You'll take a class in supply chain risk, which is really important these days. I mean, we all saw during COVID how many issues have popped up with supply chain disruption and supply chain risk, and navigating and buffering against that risk. So there's a dedicated class to that. And then there's also a class related to project management, and this class is within the College of Business, and it's about project management within operations. So running operations projects, running improvement projects, and the skills needed for that. So this concentration gives you a really kind of well-rounded view at operations and how you can use that in your career. The types of careers that would be really, I think, that would benefit from this concentration are folks that are looking at jobs, in supply chain and logistics, or in, quality management, distribution, inventory, forecasting. All of these are jobs related to operations that would get, really honed in skills in this concentration.
I love it. This to me is where it is at for business people, and I can see it. And I love the passion that you bring to it. It's time and time again, we hear that our operations and supply chain students are not only successful, but they just love the faculty that teach in it. So thank you so much for that, Dr. Metcalf. So I know I said we were going to focus on 3, but I thought maybe we should go back and do them all. That is our 3 focus concentration deep dives. I'm going to go back to our slide here with all of the concentrations. So I was thinking, sometimes we get asked, can I do multiple concentrations? What if I want to do more? And that is a great question that we have actually solved for you. So did you know, friends, that Ohio University not only offers our online MBAs and online master's degrees, but we also offer graduate business certificates online. And what those are, pretty much these concentrations available as a certificate, a graduate business certificate. So 3 or 4 courses that allow you to get the certificate. And many of the times, if you start at the certificate level, you can roll those courses into the MBA. Say you decide, like, I wasn't ready back then, but now I am, because it turns out that I can balance work and life and school. So if you are interested in our graduate business certificates, we are hosting another info session outside of the last one that I plugged. So on Wednesday, June 16th from 12 to 1:30, we have a graduate business certificate info session that will also be starring Dr. Young. So he's going to be a busy guy. But I have one question in the inbox here for Dr. Young, going back to the executive management concentration. Of those teaching in the executive management concentration, how many have C-suite experience? And can you tell us a little bit about the experience that they do have? So tell us about the faculty who teach in the executive management.
Sure. So immediately when I think of that question, I think of somebody like Robert Full, who teaches our business ethics class. He has worked with Target for, several years, at least 10. I'm kind of going off the top of my head here. But I mean, 10 to 15 years easily, I would say, because we hired Robert to be an executive in residence. So he's a senior at his organization who wanted a change of a career to step back into Ohio University and step into a teaching role. So it was kind of a transitional point in his career, if you will. So that's the first thing I think of Robert, because he's been heavily involved with the ethics and legality of Target across a number of years. When I think about the other faculty in my program, we're talking about people that have consulting experience. So if they don't have a directly experience in the C-suite, they've all had consulting experiences or whole and terminal degrees. So I'm thinking of an Andrew Pushell, or I'm thinking about an Amy Taylor Bianco, who has had that C-suite experience and or the consulting experience with directly communicates to the C-suite level.
And not only that, but going back to the LDC, the Leadership Development Conference, that's where these Ohio University brings in those speakers. They bring in these actual C-suite people who are actually working in the industry to come in and have this one-on-one time with the students. So you definitely get your exposure to all those leaders in business for sure. I know that you mentioned Dr. Amy Taylor Bianco. She's wonderful. She's in our Master of Science in Management, as well as our graduate business certificates, and her experience is up there as well. So thank you for that question.
Can I add quickly there? So I just wanted to add that most of our faculty that are specifically teaching in the online MBA program also engage in consulting activities, like Dr. Young said, but it's specific to their area. So Rob Full is a corporate lawyer, and he does a lot of consulting related to corporate ethics, because that's what he did in his executive experience. And I know faculty like Dr. Haberman and myself and Dr. Boda that teach in the operations concentration, we do operations and process improvement consulting. And Dr. Young does analytics consulting. So even though we might be academics now, we're very applied, and I think that students appreciate that perspective as they go through the classes.
For sure, and not only that, but also the body of students that are in our program. You know, they might not be at C-suite level, but they definitely are all working. Most of our students, I would say probably like 99% of our students are working in whatever industry that they are. So from what I hear from time and time again is that in the discussions that you're having with your cohort, with the homework, you know, a lot of different perspectives are being brought in from real life examples. And I think that is what not only makes the courses very interesting for each other, but also makes it interesting to teach as well. Am I correct with that? Either Dr. Metcalf or Dr. Young?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah, so our online group of students, you know, everyone is working, everyone is online, so it's just nice, you know, what I say, like-mindedness that helps everyone be on the same page for sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's
so
definitely just my 2 cents when I look at the online environment and just a general perspective. I always enjoy the students that come in with that like-minded mentality or mindset, because, you know, a lot of the educational growth and just the maturity of your understanding of these disciplines occur in our virtual office hour or virtual classes when you're engaging in direct communication to the faculty members. So when you have an interest, it really perks our interest. So we're more engaged. So the more that you can prepare for those live engagements, the more enthusiastic we are about sharing our passion and our understanding of any subject matter expert that we're teaching, frankly. So yeah, like-mindedness is very helpful, and that's the thing I really like the most about teaching in the Online MBA program, is that we're dealing with students across a wide range of different disciplines, backgrounds, and everything else in between. So getting that environment up and running and sharing those experiences, especially in the executive management where you've had some years of experience, is really beneficial to either share or articulate your experience, or to draw on your experience to just kind of think about how you're going to lead others in the future.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So I will come back to some of our questions and answers in just a moment. So I just wanted to talk really quickly about our admissions requirements. So we do require you to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited university and a GPA preferred of 3.0 or higher. Now, that is not like a solid, like, oh, if you have a 2.9, 2.7, you know, that's it, too bad, so sad. I highly recommend that you speak to our enrollment team. You know, I know that Dr. Young, being part of the admissions committee, he looks at your entire body of work. I mean, I was in college a very long time ago. I partied hard. I don't have a 3.0. But I got through a master's degree program because, you know, of my work experience and my personal goal statement. So it's your whole life now. You know, college was a long time ago for a lot of us. So what happened then happened. It's important to be future forward and forward looking. So get in touch with our enrollment team. They can help you walk you through it and help you shine to our admissions council for sure. And obviously, to prove that you actually did get a bachelor's degree, we'll need your official transcript, your current resume, which showcases where you are and where you've been. That personal goal statement, that is the chance for you to shine. You will want to indicate, you know, why Ohio University? What will this degree do for you and your career moving forward? I think that is probably one of the best indicators for us about how you will do in our program, is your personal goal statement. We do require 2 letters of recommendation. This can be from a boss or a colleague or a professor if you have just coming out of college. You know, it could just be anyone, very easy. And then there is a $50 online application fee, but I have an asterisk here because for joining us today, you can receive an application fee waiver. So all you have to do is when you're applying, again, speak to an enrollment advisor. You don't have to write it down right now, but the code COBLEARN, L-E-A-R-N, all one word, can be entered into the application, and we will waive that $50 application fee. So again, if you have questions about that, just go ahead and let your enrollment advisor know. I have taken notes as to who has attended and who has not, so we'll make sure we'll get that fee out to you. And then a lovely thing about most online degrees at this point is no GRE or GMAT scores are required. So this is our admissions requirement. So I had a question about some financial support for online graduate students. You know, a lot of times, you know, scholarships, everyone is focused on the undergrad, but Ohio University and the College of Business are so generous about making sure that education is affordable for everyone. So we have a lot of scholarships available for you. So if you are an Ohio University alumni, you have a $5,000 scholarship. You don't even have to apply. Automatic, done. If you're a member of our military or student veterans, $5,000 off your MBA, done. Don't even have to apply. We do ask you to prove through, you know, showing some ID, but that's all you have to do. There's no application, there's no essay. And then the College of Business does have a bunch of corporate partners that we work with locally here in Ohio throughout the state. So if you happen to be working with one of those corporate partners, $5,000 off of your tuition. But for everybody else, we have incentives to get you motivated for the fall semester and get those applications in. So I know it's 2 days away, but if you complete your application by May 28th, which I think is Friday, you will be automatically considered for a $1,000 scholarship. That's all you have to do. Just submit your complete application, and then Dr. Young and the admissions committee will go through, and this is just MBA students, so you don't have to even compete against, you know, all of Ohio University. This $1,000 scholarship is reserved just for online MBA students. If you finish by May 28th, you're automatically considered. And then if you don't, June 25th is our next option for you. $750 automatic consideration. So it's not everybody. It's one scholarship recipient per one of these deadlines. So $750 off of tuition if you complete your complete application by June 25th. So I know you guys can do it. Just, it doesn't take very long. The hardest part is probably writing your personal statement. And if you know what you're going to do, just do it. And then our actual final deadline, meaning end of the fall, we're done recruiting for the fall semester, is, oh goodness, I don't even have it written down, but I think it is in July. Very quickly, it's coming up. So it's July, feels like July 4th, maybe. Sorry, 1 second. Yes, oh, even better, July 30th. So no scholarship incentive there, but get your application in sooner, obviously the better. That way you can plan your time. You can get all the things you need to get ready for our fall start, which is the next semester that we are currently recruiting for. So that was a lot. Again, we have a whole bunch of money to give to you guys. If you have questions, please speak to an enrollment advisor. You can let them know you sat in on our webinar with Kim, Dr. Young, and Dr. Metcalf, and they'll definitely know what we're talking about. So I saw a bunch of questions pop in, so just give me 1 second to take a look here. Let's see. Are there fully funded scholarships for OU graduates? Not in the online space right now. That's not to say that you cannot find scholarships externally, but at this time we do not have any fully funded scholarships for Ohio University graduates. And I will give you the code. COBLEARN is the application fee waiver code. You will type that in the first page of the application that says for administrative use only, and that'll save you $50. If you have already submitted your application already, great, thank you so much. I am not sure if we can do that retroactively. I would just get in touch with your enrollment advisor. I'm so sorry about that. Is there a list of corporate partners? Yes, there is. I will find it and email it to you. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Christina has a question. If you have a different type of bachelor's degree, I am not too sure. I am not too sure. I would ask your enrollment advisor, and the contact information is right here up on the screen right now if different types of bachelor's degrees are eligible. And corporate partners, okay. So anybody have any? Go ahead.
I just wanted to respond to Christina because she's talking about having a PharmD degree, which I think would be a great background coming into the OMBA. So I think she could certainly email an enrollment advisor and find out for sure, but I think that sounds like a really great background to have a doctorate in pharmacy to come into the MBA program.
I think so too, especially with the executive, I'm thinking of the certificate for the healthcare one. Healthcare, a concentration in healthcare, which we didn't actually speak about. So I don't know if, Christina, you have any questions about the healthcare concentration in particular, but that one is also a very popular one because of, such a pop in healthcare in recent months for sure. It's great for people who want to be in the business side of healthcare for sure. I don't think Dr. Young or Dr. Metcalf teach any of those courses, so. Okay. Last call for questions. Dr. Young, do you want to give us some closing words while I keep searching for some answers for corporate partners?
Sure. So I know we've sort of hyper-focused on a handful of our concentrations, and I just want to reiterate a point that was made by Kim earlier in terms of, we have been aggressive about creating multiple pathways for our students, so we do have a lot of selection when it comes to our concentrations. And you do have actually 2.5 semesters to decide what concentration you'd like. So obviously when you apply, you're going to have to pick one to start your application and start that process. But when I look at the curriculum of our program, you'll get exposed to analytics and organizational OBHR, I'll just say. That's easier for me to abbreviate. Anyway, you'll get an experience there. So that's very similar to our executive management concentration. Then your second semester in, you'll go through an accounting class and finance class. So within the first two semesters, you're really hitting on 4 of our different concentrations that we offer. And really your first class, when I talk about your first class, your first concentration class is not until semester 3, term B, or the second 7 weeks. So you might get an experience with operations, which is obviously a really hot area, just like analytics right now, or our executive management concentration that we offer. If we didn't think there was value in these concentrations, we wouldn't offer them. So, it's really hard for me to pitch one and say this is the best area that is right for you. That's why we've created options for you. So I would just, look at your goals, where you are currently within your organization, or if you want to, have some sort of change in your direction of your career progression, take a look at what makes the most sense for you and where you want to be. And likely we do offer that concentration area after your MBA. If it's something that you want to follow a different path after you've completed, then we do offer those certificate programs. But that goes also hand in hand with maybe you're not quite ready to pursue an MBA program. So maybe you want to start out with a certificate, I should say, which mimics our concentration areas that we offer. So, again, we try to create multiple pathways for you, and we really focus on value. And, we really pride ourselves when we look at our exit surveys, we poll our alumni base and things of that nature. We're really proud of our flexibility with our adult learners. We've really created a program for the adult learner. We understand you're busy, so that's why we have some flexibility. It's why we also break down the course structure into 7-week terms, so you can focus on one thing at a time and not have to juggle 2 different classes and competing due dates for assignments and things of that nature. We look at the immediate impact that we can give you through our curriculum that you can take back to the office, if you will. And we also focus on more of the strategic things with our concentration areas that might take a little longer. So something like ethics might not have an immediate payoff, but it does have a longer-term payoff when you're in that C-suite or having those discussions, which might foster, that career progression that you're after.
So, Dr. Young,
oh, go ahead.
We were probably about to say the same thing. Michael asked a question. Could you give a high-level explanation of the business analytics concentration?
Sure thing. So when we look at sort of the pillars of analytics, the pillars of analytics really revolve around descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. And basically what that means is, for one, that's increasing business value. So descriptive, everybody does it. It's summarizing data. All organizations today describe their data in some form or another through dashboards, charts, tables, figures, things of that nature. When we get to predictive, that's a higher business value. What we're really talking about is forecasting the future so we can run our operations and really see ahead of time what's coming so we can make those operational changes to set ourselves up for success. Or we're using predictive analytics in a way that we better understand our customers, which is also giving us a strategy component behind our operations. Then when we look at prescriptive analytics, it's all about this decision making. Every decision you have in business, you have some finite resource. So whether it's your labor, whether it's material, whether it's time, logistic challenges and things of that nature, we're confined to some parameter, if you will. And we're using analytical capabilities, technologies, and theories, essentially, to understand what is the best decision we can possibly make to utilize all those resources most effectively. The other side of analytics is what I would say business intelligence. It's understanding how to manage data, how to clean data so we can actually process it in a way that we discover those meaningful insights in the data that we're mining, essentially. So that's kind of the 4 areas of business analytics, and trying to sprinkle in some business cases, I guess, if you will.
I love it. Thank you so much. Dr. Young can go on forever about business analytics. So if you have questions, feel free to email him. He can, don't worry about that. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the work experience that your students have? In particular, some students joining us might not have the corporate background. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of those questions that's actually kind of hard to answer, to be quite honest. And, I've been doing this for a while now because we have such a diverse background of students in our program. We have the students that have 2 to 3 years of experience. We have the students that have closer to 20 years of experience. And when we look at our students in terms of industries, they're all across the board. I remember a librarian scientist going through my analytics program. And of course, that's not traditional, but she had a passion. And I would say, just to make a comment earlier about your application questions or your comments about, applications, I would say if there is a weakness in your background, we're all about creating opportunity and driving that value in our degree. And the reason I say that is that if you do have a weakness in your application, we look at the entire thing. Don't shy away from the weakness. I would elaborate on it because I think the worst thing that we come across is somebody trying to, be very vague or not address some weakness in their resume or the application portfolio. So, I would talk about the career progression that you've had so far and where you want to be, 3 to 5 years from now. So that's always, something our application reviewers and myself look at when we're going through those applications. So it's very difficult to say, but definitely our average years of experience, it bounces around from 7 to 9 years of professional experience, but our students are in every industry possible. A lot of healthcare students, a lot of engineers who didn't have that type of background in their education, so they're coming back. You name it, and it's represented in our program.
Great, thank you. And I would absolutely echo that. I have had many different people that I've spoken to from all walks of life, all ages. I was joking with one of you out there, is like, I'm 37 and I think I'm in the older group. I'm like, no, you're probably in our medium age group. 37 is not old to get an MBA. And I think when you're doing it, you have to think about the sacrifices that you're going to be making. It is a time commitment, but in the end, having a higher degree, having the Ohio University MBA, because it does not say online MBA, it just says Master of Business Administration on your diploma. That is a feeling that is unlike anything else, and it is something that not only will you be proud to showcase on your resume, but it will be something that you will go and be that example to your family, to anybody who says, I took the time, but I did it, and that is something more valuable than, I would say, getting the promotion is actually completing the degree, and it is absolutely possible. I'll have a bunch of webinars coming up later in the month as well, talking about the student life and what it is like to actually be an online student. So if you're interested in any of those, just keep checking our MBA page or reach out to an enrollment advisor. We've got a lot of content coming up for you in the next few weeks. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit more about the scholarships. Do you have your recommendations completed and submitted as well? To have be considered a completed application, you have to submit. It's an online system, so once you submit the name and the email address of the of your recommenders, it sends them an email, and then that is considered complete. Now, whether or not we receive it back, there is a little bit more leeway on that. So, good question. So, yes, if you have indicated to the system that you have recommenders in mind, and the system has sent the email to the recommenders to recommend you, then it is considered a completed application. Ooh, that was a lot. But everything else, we have to have your transcripts, we have to have your personal statement, all of that, everything else has to be in by the 28th. And I know that's 2 days, but I know it is possible because I did my application in one night, completed. The recommendations did come in a little bit later for me. So that is my story. Does anybody else have any questions? We have about 5 minutes left, and I know that Dr. Young is broadcasting live from a beautiful mountain in Tennessee. Dr. Metcalf is on campus, and we are just here for you for the next few minutes. So anything else? If not, we can let you all go early and get some lunch. Going once. Going twice. Okay, I'm going to wrap it. Dr. Young, Dr. Metcalf, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Folks who joined us live, thank you so much. If you have any questions, be sure to email your enrollment advisor with the name, or your name and email address. I have taken attendance to let everyone know who has been here today. So thank you all so much for joining us, and we hope to see your application by tomorrow. No, I'm kidding, but definitely by the 30th of July. So thank you all so much, and we'll see you soon.